playing makes you better, so.
Yeah, they will definitely get tested here today against a team that I think a lot of people thought would be the front runners, nationally ranked early on, and still 18-3, 2-1 in conference play. And talked with Coach Steve Souza about that game on the road. He said they had 2 days of practice. They had 8 guys suited out. It was kind of the same situation Central had against LCCC with the COVID and everything else. So they had 19 turnovers in that game. They lose it on the road, 70-67 in overtime, and sets them up kind of on the other side of number 2 right now in conference play, I guess.
And there are anomalies with everybody's schedule, really, too. So, I mean, that's, I can see where he's saying that, but everybody else has had to battle some weirdness schedule-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. As Central as
certainly. CWC not playing for so long didn't help them for sure.
Absolutely. Certainly in the middle of all that as well. We have a pregame interview with our head coach, Brad Schmidt, coming up here in just a couple of moments, so stick around for that. Again, the ladies picking up a much-needed W. They will be on the road for the next 2 games next week, Northwest and then back down at LCCC. And we'll talk with Lindsey Fearing at the half of this men's contest as well. It is the 18-3 and 2-1 Western Mustangs against the 7-10, 0-3 CWC Rustler men. Coming up here in just a minute. The pregame show continues. An interview with head coach Brad Schmidt is up right after this. Let's give you starting lineups in today's game as we take a look at the visitors. They are from Western Wyoming. Head coach Steve Souza. It is 4th season, and he and Brad Schmidt, very good coaches. Brad in his 4th year as well, kind of came into the league together.
Friends, didn't you? There.
What did I say?
Both very good coaches.
Very good friends. Yes, they are very good coaches, and they're very good
that
friends.
That was secondary, I believe,
as well. So here's what Western Wyoming will look like. They will start number 1, Azarian Stevens. Here's Azarian, a 6'1" sophomore from Racine, Wisconsin, averaging 9 points, 3 assists per ball game. Marcus Collins, number 2, is a 6-foot freshman out of Seattle, Washington. And this is something I found was weird. Dane Prim not starting. He's preferred to come off the bench, is what the coach has told me. So Andre Cruz, a 6'6" freshman from Portugal, averaging 9.6 boards per ball game, will play. Also, Trey Pierce has been playing very well. 6'9" sophomore out of Denver, Colorado, averaging 9 points a game. And Trevor Trost, he is a 6'7" sophomore from Woods Cross, Utah, and he averages 15.6 rebounds per game. Both Prim, Pierce, and Trost, third-year Mustangs, taking advantage of the COVID year.
Yeah, Trost, in fact, has done damage against us, I recall, in the past a couple of years.
Yeah, Trost actually verbaled to Chaminade in Hawaii, went there for 1 semester, then transferred back, and here is continuing in his 3rd season at Western Wyoming College.
Maybe got a bad pineapple or something there, but...
And he is also one of the first that I know of in the entire state in JUCO basketball that has an NIL agreement with a construction outfit out of Rock Springs.
Interesting. I was curious. That'd be interesting to check with who has that. I know today an NIL agreement at the University of Texas, a guard there, is giving part of his NIL money to cancer.
Very
stuff,
good.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
I've not seen that before.
Good trend to see for sure. Central shaking up their starting lineup, as you heard Coach Schmidt say.
Well, when does he not, actually?
Shaking it up a little bit today. They'll start like this. Number 1, a 6'1" sophomore from Portland, Oregon, averaging 19 points and a couple boards per ball game. That is Jesse White. Number 4, the headband, a 6'5" sophomore. The only wrestler to start every single game for them this year out of Newberg, Oregon, is Jack Klumak. Number 11, the 6'6" sophomore out of Lander Valley High School, is Niehi Black Bear, 9 points, 5 boards per ball game. Number 24 is a 6'10" sophomore from Stuttgart, Germany, 9 points, 17 rebounds last time on the floor. Both it matches his high in points. It is his new high in rebounds at 17. And then number 5, as we go a little bit out of order, a 6'1" freshman out of Cameroon. That is Tony Gia, and those will be your starters for Brad Schmidt and the Rustlers, as the other team being introduced as well as Azarian Stevens, also Marcus Collins coming out.
I think from the games we've done, they've had 10 different starters for CWC, by the way.
Pretty much. And Western in their road black unis, the red numbers, the white trim. And again, Steven Souza, the head coach, in their 4th year. Central will be dressed in white. They wore the orange last time. Looking at the great shot from our TV crew up here. Riley Bouillon, also Dory White, our camera people. I believe Jackson Morris is our director earlier. Thanks to Nevada Bursey. Also Rachel Hofer, alumni, now working at Central Wyoming College, for her help being up here in the box earlier. And Christian Corona was our director. Christian's up here enjoying the game as a spectator in the box. You can see Professor Fountain's flag flying in the bottom if you're watching this on rustlerathletics.com. Also tuned in on 88.1 and in Spectrum Cable Channel 189 as we get ready for basketball. Pierce is going to step into the midcourt circle with Sebastian Gaza. Decent crowd on hand. Watched the ladies with a 20-point victory prior. Referee testing the basketball.
Yep, it's round.
Yeah, let's Trey take a look at it. And Trey says, yeah, we're good. A little different headband on Jack Klumak tonight, I think, as the referee hadn't tossed it yet. Sebastian got a little quick start on it. It's going to be batted into the backcourt to Marcus Collins. Jesse White D'ing him up in a man-to-man. Again, Western in black, Central in white. Trost, Lally-oop up, and then the dunk by Pierce misses, and Klumak comes away with a rebound.
It's something I'm sure they came out of the gate planning all along to that play, but the back door dunk attempt just does not work.
Came up a little short. Black Bear way out front. Left side, Klumak now. Gia, he's D'd up by Stevens. Gia's going to take it to the middle of the paint, throw it off glass. It's going to roll out, and Trost will get the rebound. Mustangs back the other way. Stevens, hands on him by Gia. That'll go into the backcourt. He's going to pick it up, and I think just basically by the way he picked it up, just referee says, might as well call the turnover. He's going to say, well, if he didn't
sell the non-call.
Right, did not sell it at all, and so that'll be a turnover, first of the night on the Mustangs. Not quite a minute old on the Pepsi scoreboard, no score. White giving out signals, running into Collins, gets into the paint and will be fouled. And Jesse asking Collins for a little help up. Collins looking at the official to see if the foul was on him, and it is, and that'll be his first. Appreciate you tuning in. Again, I'm John Gabrielson, professor of radio broadcasting at Central. Gaza's wide open underneath, didn't get it to him. Black Bear over Trost. That one's no good, and Pierce the rebound.
Trost is going to be a handful, I think, for Black Bear, partly because of that size, the girth of him. Black Bear very skinny comparatively.
Right, they only list him at 6'7", but he looks bigger than that as Pierce on the baseline for 10 throws up an air ball, and it's rebounded off the ground by Niehi Black Bear. Each team with a couple of possessions, no score. Gia down the lane, they're going to call him for a travel, and that'll turn it right back over to the Mustangs. Minute and a half gone by.
That was a play that could have maybe gone any of ways, maybe defensive foul, offensive foul with a bit of an arm bar, but just going to call the travel instead.
Less harmful of the
options.
Available options for sure. Collins calls out, looks to Coach Souza. Now they'll reset a little bit. Shot clock already halfway down. Trost at the left elbow, outside Collins for three. High arcer, no good. Gaza with his first rebound of the night. He mentioned he had 17 the other night. Klumak drives into the paint, look for that patented Klumak floater, but nope, they'll call him for a travel instead.
I think he was surprised when the defense came with him on the first move, and then on the second move, that's when the travel occurred.
Nate Mims checking into the Central lineup. Nate, 6'6", sophomore out of Lakewood, Ohio, averaging just under 11 points and 4 boards per ball game. Cruz gives it up ahead. Stevens gives it back up top. Trost way out left side. Cruz goes baseline, shut off there, almost throws it away. Stevens instead gets it. He'll penetrate, he'll go to the rack, he'll throw it up. It's going to be knocked out of bounds. Oh, last touch they say by Klumak. I thought that was definitely off of Trey Pierce, but not the case.
Another coach bemoaning that loss to LCCC, but you got to remember, LCCC beat Western Nebraska right before they beat Western, Wyoming, which is that's a pretty good parlay right there between those two and then their next 2 games that they won.
They do make a correction, and they give the basketball back to Central. 3 on the way, good. Jesse White, and the scoreboard finally dented 2.5 minutes into the ball game. Trost gets a seal, takes it with the left hand on the right side and scores. Good seal down below, and Jack Klumak is down. Yikes.
Yeah, and really holding his leg.
Yeah, and he's a tough kid, and he's going to try to see what's going on with Jack Klumak underneath the right side as you can hear him tapping the floor.
He's been a great defensive, matchup for CWC all year long.
He's holding a high ankle, and he's going to trot off to the training table, and Trey Sims will check in for him. Round of applause for Jack as he's hobbling off to the right side of the table there. Really favoring that high left ankle. Well, so Western hosted Northwest on Thursday, got down 14-6, and then Western went on a 36-4 run and ended up winning that game 91-57.
That's kind of a good news, bad news. You made that great run, but why were you in that pickle in the first place?
Yeah. Mims left side, 17-footer is good off the bench. Nate Mims, his first bucket. And a steal by the Rustlers. Gia left side outside, Jesse White for 3, that's good. Central on a bit of a run, they're up 8-2 now. They're taking advantage of Couple of Western turnovers.
Western a little sloppy out of the gate.
And that could be how they got down 14-6 to Northwest on Thursday night. Cruz chucks it into the backcourt out of bounds. That'll be the 4th turnover now on the Mustangs.
And some games you never see an over and back call, and here we've got 2 against Western the first 3.5 minutes.
We're going to see Justice Reese from Rock Springs. He's not one that you see a lot of minutes for. He played a lot of minutes in the blowout over Northwest on Thursday, but 6 or 7 appearances in their 21 games, and the Rock Springs native is out there. Mims dishing in the corner. Gia. Tony drives in, back out Mims for 3 on the way. That's good. 2 big buckets by Nate Mims off the bench, and the Rustlers have a 9-point lead at 11-2. 4 minutes gone by on the first half Pepsi scoreboard.
And if you're Western, you may weirdly think we got them right where we want them. So,
yeah.
Klumak, by the way, moving around on the sideline.
Hopping on that ankle.
He was running some a little before, now hopping on it.
Yeah, I think we'll see that kid back. Like I said, he's tough. He'll be back. 3-pointer, no good, and ball's going to go out of bounds. Cruz touched it last, and we'll get a stop in play momentarily for some subs checking in. Trey Pierce coming out. Dane Prim going to check in. Dane Prim, who I thought probably could have been the player of the year in either of the first 2 years he played, comes off the bench now. And I asked Coach Souza about it. He said he just feels comfortable coming off the bench. With Trey Pierce playing well, he'll come off the bench. And
interesting, matched up as a 5. Interesting, too, as he moves around.
Gia for 3 at the top, knocks it down. 4th triple of the first half, and Coach talked about it in pregame. Water finds level, and right now maybe they're shooting up to possibly their potential as Cruz gets underneath, and he'll have it knocked away by Sebastian Gaza. Take it away by Sebastian.
Did you say Gia for 3, by the way? If you did, I liked it.
Mims and Sebastian just throws Trost out of the way. And that is going to be a foul on Gaza.
But I think that's something the coaches wanted out of Gaza, maybe more physical presence underneath. And certainly there's a foul here being called. But, establishing yourself, as a force in the middle.
His first, team first. And it will send Jesse White, actually Niehi Black Bear, back out onto the court for the Rustlers. 14-12 Central out in front of Western Wyoming. Coach, are they in a zone now? Are they still man-to-man? Underneath, shot Prim good as they lost him in the middle of that defense, and Prim knocks it in. 14-4, 5 minutes gone by on the Pepsi scoreboard. Gia, beat up by Reese, gives it back to Mims on Trost. Goes to the low block, and they'll call him for a travel, and we're dead even in the turnover categories at 4 now.
I think the difference there, though, is I think CWC has turned those turnovers into points, and I'm not sure what. With only 2 baskets, I'm guessing Western hasn't. We'll see what they do with this turnover.
Cruz to Trost, back up to Stevens as he'll get it across the timeline. Working on Jesse White. Azarian gives it eye post Prim, baseline Trost working on Black Bear, bodies in. Nice little move by Trevor Trost, he's got 4.
I think that goes back to the size thing I was talking about as far as the sturdiness of him.
Right. Klumak's gonna check back in next dead ball. Great news for the Rustlers. J-Dub, 15-foot line outside Gia. Didn't take the 3. This time Jesse White will, and he'll knock that one down and gets leveled at midcourt on top of it. 3 triples for J-Dub. And it's an 11-point lead, 17-6. Jacob Maddox going to check in next dead ball for Central, and we'll also see Chase Hettinger come in for Western as there's a little jumper from just inside the free throw line by Cruz that is good. Central's biggest lead has been 12. Thanks to the tweak I've done on my scoreboard, I can find that easily now. Sims, baseline, chucks it back out to White. J-Dub gets it back on a quick one from Niehi. Niehi will lean in over Cruz. They'll call him for the offensive foul, and they'll take the bucket off.
That's a case of knowing where you were on the court. Had he been back a foot or 2, that would have been, the foul would have been on him.
Pretty heady move by the defender to step in at that on that as well. Earlier this afternoon, LCCC came from behind and beat Northwest 90-85. That was in Cheyenne. Northwest falling 90-85. Central will be at Powell on Wednesday, taking on Northwest.
Pretty good road trip there.
It is a long one. Right side, Hettinger has that ball batted out of bounds into the crowd by Sims. And Saul May will check in. Mims coming out. 5 points for Mims in good minutes. Saul May, a 6'7" freshman out of Manchester, England. Hettinger, by the way, with the basketball. He's out of Castle Rock, Colorado. Shot clock down to 8. Hettinger, another 17-footer, good elevation. Actually, it was Andre Cruz that knocks that one down. Stolen away by Prim, and a foul on Klumak as he comes back into the game. 6 turnovers on Central. First personal on Jack Klumak. See Coach Schmidt in the middle of your screen if you're watching on RustlerAthletics.com and on channel 189 on your Spectrum TV. 12:57 left on that Pepsi scoreboard. 17-10. Central's biggest lead has been 12. Western's biggest lead has been 1. Cross-court pass. Cruz again. This one's for 3. No good.
And I think had he fouled his shot, he would have had a perfect avenue to have retrieved it, but he didn't.
Sims with a good defensive board. Maddox ran into almost a steal by Trost as Stephen Long is checked into the ball game, and Jack will be called for a travel. .25 left to play first quarter. Media timeout will come in the first break after the 10-minute mark. Again, the CWC women picking up a W earlier this afternoon.
Interesting for Western, they list 4 players from Rock Springs on their team, as they may have missed a travel there.
Mitchelson from Farson on top of that.
Won a state championship there.
Going to get a foul away. A 3-second violation on Trost will be their 5th turnover of the ball game.
Along with a Giants fellow at that time.
Pierce back in, Stevens back in for the Mustangs.
In fact, I believe they won the football championship that year as well, didn't they, in 6-man?
I believe so. Klumak.
That being Farson, by the way.
Hettinger on him. Obnie, he was wide open underneath it. Instead, they'll throw it away as Reese steps in front, picks it off. Prim, 2 steps laid off glass. Nice bucket by Dane Prim, his second. He's got 4, cuts the lead to 5. Good start by the Rustlers, fading a bit here as taking it the distance, and a blocking foul underneath.
And that's on the line, I think, is what you see there, the difference between the 2 calls.
Justice Reese trying to take that call, will be called for the foul. That will be his first. That'll be an and 1 coming up for Nate Mims.
You saw Rock Springs High School play last year. Reese, was he much of a factor on their team last year? Do you
I
recall?
think he redshirted and was not on that team last year.
In fact, he could have been a second year here and still be a freshman too, for that matter, even if he wouldn't have redshirted with the COVID thing.
Mims has 8 points, all 8 of the bench points for the Rustlers. 20-12, the 8-point lead now on the Pepsi scoreboard by Central. Then they have Derek Lionberger on the squad there as well. As you mentioned, the number of kids from there as Klumak bodies checks.
That'll be a second.
Azarian Stevens to the floor. Jack will pick up number 2.
There was an excellent cross-check in the girls' game earlier, but
by the coach,
sport.
By the coach on the official. Is that what you're talking about?
I was talking about the play right in front of the scorers table. Called against
and there was that one too. Yes, absolutely. They called that one an intentional. They gave Lindsay a T for tripping the ref on accident.
Oh, that's what that one was.
Yeah. 11:28 left. Prim palms the ball, hands it back to Hettinger. Hettinger down to the baseline, throws it back up. Pierce thought about a 3.
If he had a 3 in his arsenal, he would have taken that.
Shot no good. Long rebound to Maddox as they miss the triple. Jacob with it at the logo. Lob down low. Sebastian pump fake. Puts it up. He thought about it too much, and they'll call a foul on the floor. It's going to be on Trey Pierce.
But what is it not? I don't think so.
No.
What a perfect pass that was, though, just over the hands of the outstretched hands of the defender.
So Sebastian picks up the foul on top of missing the shot.
Coach Schmidt wanting an over and back there, which would have been amazing to get your third one in the first part of the game.
Stevens keeps it on a bounce. Finds it back to Pierce. Now Prim posting up. He's so good close to the basket like this. And he will not score here. And the rebound comes to Mims. He loses the handle, but it's going to stay Central basketball.
They must want Pierce to stay up very high to give him room to, make moves underneath, because he's not looked at wide open threes a couple of times and has not had any intention of moving closer to the basket either, for that matter.
Show him at 6'9", but he looks bigger than that, to be honest with you.
I think he's a good 6'9.5", I'm thinking.
J-Dub, baseline Maddox, cross court. Jesse, nope, wouldn't pull the trigger for his fourth trifecta. Back to Maddox, he'll dribble, drive baseline, shovels it to Gaza. Nice pass, nice bucket, Sebastian.
Those are not an easy shot because you're in the tweener range, whether I, take a jump shot, hook, or try to extend on a layup. This is not an easy shot, but he did make it.
Trying a dunk, but a foul on Gaza is going to be his third personal foul. Wow. As Trey Pierce goes to the rack and tries to get the dunk and doesn't get it pulled off.
I figured if he got close to the basket, he'd shoot more often, is my guess. But
going to see Black Bear and Gia back in for the Rustlers after this free throw. That is good by Don Trey Pierce, his first points of the game. By the way, Trey averaging 9 points a game for Coach Souza out of Denver, Colorado.
CWC had just matched their biggest lead just seconds ago, which is interesting. I didn't get the sense that they had gone to 12.
Yeah, they have made it 12 as Pierce gets both. Back to an 8-point game. Media timeout on the next stop in play. Gia. Back to Mims, back to Gia. Playing catch on the near side, cross court. J-Dub penetrates. Kicks it back out. Mims for another three. That one dish pans out, and Prim the rebound. Stevens throws it up. Prim between the legs dribble, working on Jesse White. Hettinger back out to Collins. Wraparound pass, Prim. Nice quick move. Nice job by Sims on the baseline. Ball goes to the floor. And a timeout, no, a jump ball call. It'll be Central basketball. So they ended up getting it anyway, and that'll be the 6th turnover of the game on Western. And we'll see our first media timeout of the contest. Central's biggest lead has been 12. They lead by 10. 9:23 left to play first half on the Pepsi scoreboard. You're watching Rustler basketball from 88.1 and Rustler Media, streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. Out of the timeout, Rustler basketball and a 10-point advantage. Kind of an extended 1-2-2 zone perhaps out of Western now, and Central's shot well from the arc. Right now, 5 of 7 from three-point land to be more precise. Mims, 10 on the shot clock. Baseline, Niehi got partially blocked. He'll get in traffic. He will be rejected. Mims the rebound. Shot clock at 2. It'll stay Central basketball with a shot clock at 1.
Well, Mims has done a nice job coming off the bench so far in this ball game.
Yeah, 8 points, 2 rebounds for Mims off the bench. 1 second left on the shot clock, and it'll be batted out of bounds by Collins real quick.
So apparently it took less than a second to do that.
Not even sure they got the trigger pulled on that. Central girls hit a shot with .7. Oh, they'll inbound at Mims, and shot no good, but a rebound by Collins. That's a better look than I thought they'd get, to be honest with you. Hedinger wide open, triple, nothing but net. 22-17, they've cut the lead in half after 22-12. 8.5 remaining in the first half. Gia gets jumped in a double team, scoots it back out to Mims. Corner, right side. Actually, that's Mims over there. That shot is no good. And the baseline rebound by Trey Pierce. Third board of the afternoon for Trey. May D'ing up. Now Mims says there's a turnaround shot. No good, but Trey Pierce, the rebound, puts it back up and in, and he's fouled. Cuts it to a three-point game now. Central foul is on Nate Mims. First personal on Nate.
Well, fouls could be a factor down the road because it's, what, 6-2 count-wise right now. I guess CWC players have 2 apiece, I think.
I have 7-2. I have Sebastian with 3 as Trey knocks down the three-point play to make it a 2-point game.
I take it back 3 and 2.
Klubach with 2.
Who will be coming back. In fact, they'll both be coming back in here.
Jesse White's 3 does not drop, and Dane Prim the rebound, and then they'll just turn it over. 7 turnovers for the Mustangs. Jesse White has it knocked away by Prim. They'll call Dane for the reach, and that'll be his first personal. So I'm 1 foul off. I have Central at 7 right now. Gaza and Klumach back in. Gaza playing with 3 personals, unless he only has 2, and I've got him for 3. See Sebastian right in the middle of your screen. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. RustlerAthletics.com. Jesse White to the baseline. Might have double dribbled, and now he'll get bailed out on a foul. Prim and White have words, and Sebastian Gaza is going to move him away from that as they're going to call Stevens for the reach. Actually, they call Collins his second. Had some words the other night at the end of the game, and now another foul on Western.
I hate to say it, it's almost become somewhat of a standard thing, it seems like, anymore.
Yeah, the chippiness, yeah.
And as the game has gotten more physical through the years, I think that is something that lends to that a bit also.
Andre Cruz is going to check into the ball game. Did they give that foul to Pierce? Yeah. First personal. Jesse drives past his man, takes it to the rack and scores it. Nice quick move by J-Dub. He's got 11. Rustler lead back to 4. He's got 11 of the 26. 7:15 left. Prim under the basket. Turns too far behind the backboard. Ball batted out of bounds by Klumach. That's going to stay Western basketball with 18 on the shot clock. 7:11 left in the first half on the Pepsi scoreboard. Central 26, Western 20. We have had 1 lead change in the ball game when Western took an early, I think, 3-2 lead, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 4-3 lead. Actually, it was a 2-0 lead, and then Central got it back. That shot misses everything, and Mims the board. Inside of 7 now. Gia runs the arc, takes it to the rack, high off glass. Ball is going to be knocked out of bounds, I think, off Sebastian, and that's what they'll call it. That's the way I saw it as well. Crowd doesn't like it, but I thought it came off of Gaza, and we'll get a Steve Souza timeout. 4:34 in the Mountain West. John Gabrielson, Joel Kindle, and the Rustlers with 6:42 remaining in the first half on the Pepsi scoreboard. 26-20, Central out in front, Western basketball when we return. Ball knocked out of bounds by the Rustlers. It will be Western basketball. 6:42 remaining in the first half. Central's biggest lead has been a dozen. Again, Western's biggest was 1. Go back and look at my trusty little game log that I have gotten put together. Yeah, Jesse White, a 3-pointer, made it 3-0. Trevor Trost scored to make it 3-2. Well, based on this,
I don't think
they have not led.
That's what I was thinking.
Wow.
What is your thing on your newfangled scoreboard say?
Oh, I know why it's showing 1. That was a Central lead, and that's the minimum as Cruz goes to the baseline. I got to call it on the ground, though, on Sebastian. And now check your board and see if that's 3 or 4 on him. Third. So that's where my other
gal
one
found out the other day. Remember, that gets the technical. She fouled out. If you looked at the official box, she had 6, which was, you don't see that very often in the gals game the other night.
That'll put Cruz at the line for 1 in the bonus. 71% free throw shooting team. And did they give him the and one? I thought he was pointing at it on the ground. Well, I was all over the map on this one.
Well, but you got the biggest lead right, though.
Well, yeah, and after some, Central going to turn that over. 9 turnovers on Central in the first half, yet they still lead by 3. Cruz knifing down. He'll travel with the basketball. He scores it, but he's a walk. That'll be 8.
But in the pros, that's that Euro step is really what that was. But
8 turnovers on the Mustangs.
And I believe he is from Spain.
He's from Portugal, yeah.
Portugal, so it's probably doable.
International rate exchange does not apply. Trey Sims into the game. Mims back with it, working on Trost. Got it moving one way. Gia for 3. That's good. Joel called it his 2nd of the night. Quick backly the other way. Trevor Trost running the floor. The big fella gets the rebound on gets the outlet pass on the other side. Coach Schmidt not excited about that transition bucket. And he calls a quick timeout with 5:45 left to play. If you're in the house, you can see the poster on the billboard on the side, and it's showing a lot of the Rustler 500. And it is a chance for you to win part of $15,000 given away on one night in late March.
It's 15,000, is it?
Well, one winner is going to win 10 grand. And there will be enough other money in the sum of 5,000 given out to other winners. Like the second to last ticket, I think, wins a couple thousand or something. But good chance for you to win some money. Better chance for you to help the Athletic Scholarship Fund at Central. And you can check out more at rustlerathletics.com. Maddox, White, also May, Sims, and Black Bear, the 5 on the court in white for Central. Holding on to a 4-point lead with 5 left. They like to jump that double team at the top when they run the arc.
Yes, left the post players wide open a couple times, but they can't see it through that double team.
Sebastian Gaza with 3 fouls here in the early going. You're probably done seeing him in the first half. Nice wraparound pass by Sims to Black Bear, lays it up and in. Great pass by Trey. Cruz, baseline Hedinger. Trost working on Black Bear. Prim, pump fake, 16-footer, nothing but net. 6 points for Prim off the bench. Right now it's 9-8. Western leading the bench play, and that 8 is all Mims, by the way, for Central.
He's going to be close to all Prim on the other side, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's got 6 of their 9 on the other side. Shot clock down to 10 as they work the perimeter. Oh, that might have been a travel. A lot of people said it in the gym. In black for sure. J-Dub 3 skims out. Cruz the rebound. With that miss, Central 6 of 11 from the arc, 55% Trost. Nice underneath move. Prim spins, turns, bucket. 8 for Prim off the bench. I think he had 18 off the bench the other night.
Well, you get a sense that Prim and Trost, playing through their 3rd year together, have really got each other down pretty good.
Yeah, and it had Pierce into that mixture as well.
Of course, he's not really involved in the give and go nearly as much as those two.
Niehi baseline over Trost is good on a nice dish. Back to a 2-point lead. Actually, it's a 4-point lead at 33-29. Missing a bucket now while Cruz baseline left it short enough to stick it. That's a jump ball, and it's going to stay Western Wyoming.
He says in Portugal that counts as 4. But when I played in that Lisbon AAU tournament.
Stevens will inbound under his own window to the right to Prim. Shot clock at 20 as they got a reset with the keep of possession.
My thought on that is if you wedge the shot, it just go to the other team because obviously you weren't real close to making it.
Cruz is going to be goaltended as he'll get the credit for the points and have 9 as Niehi Black Bear came from behind. I understand what you're saying.
I think it's a good point. Go talk to somebody.
Right after we work on those NFL overtime rules.
But did you read the part, or you've seen it, where Kansas City pushed for that 3 years ago, and nobody in the league went along with them?
Mims, 3, no good. Cruz, the board. Central's cooled off to 6 of 12. Turnover number 9 on Western as they give it right back. White working on Prim, runs around him. Trost's going to take the charge. He does, and the foul on Jesse White.
And he was, like I said, outside that line, and that was the key there. You know, it's what's weird as a broadcaster, you almost have to look down there to do that anymore.
Well, we get this, I watched the stream playback and trying to see. So here, next stop in play, I want to talk about one of our former Rustlers doing well at South Dakota State as we're inside of 3 minutes, 33-31.
By the way, I think Jerry Jacobson, one of our former Lady Rustlers, doing well as a coach, if I'm not mistaken.
Very good. Trost, right side, actually left side elbow, ties the game. Trost has 8.
See, I think in some ways he's been a bigger headache for us the past couple of years than Prim, but I think that they may play off each other that well, so one can't succeed as much without the other.
Just think Prim is so good in that mid-range around the bucket that he's kind of been a menace, but yeah, Trost definitely has contributed his fair share.
But I think Prost does not make the spectacular play like Prim does.
Fadeaway Black Bear baseline 6-footer over Prim is good. Nice tough shot by Niehi. Back to a 2-point Rustler advantage. Prim 15-foot line. Puts his head down. One bounce to Trost on the low block. Back up top, Cruz back to Trost. Cruz now hands it off to Stevens in the midcourt logo. Shot clock down to 7. Prim kicks it back to Cruz. 3, good, as the shot clock was down to 2. And they will take the lead, 36-35, 95 seconds remaining in the first half. We'll have it, there's a steal by Stevens. 2 steps, lays it up and in. Turnover number 11 on Central, by the way. And now a 3-point lead, the biggest for Western Wyoming.
Yeah, now CWC comes down court trying to play for the tie with a 3.
Jesse, baseline. May scoops underneath. Trost, as the reverse doesn't go. Trost with the board.
I think he might have partially blocked that as well.
Prim trailing, gets the dish from Hedinger and the jam. Double figures for Dane Prim off the bench. 5-point lead now for Western, their biggest.
Both teams holding on to all of their timeouts right now, too. I thought maybe CWC would call one as this barrage started to hit.
Well, Coach, as J-Dub will fire a 3. That's a big bucket. Jesse White's 4th three-pointer of the first half. He's got 14. Cuts the lead to 2, 40-38. Shot clock down to 17, game clock at 29. Baseline, Hedinger. Klumak knocks it out of his hands, out of bounds. It'll stay with Western. There's going to be a turnover on a travel by Stevens.
Yeah, he hesitates as lost in that case because he wasn't sure what he was going to do. And in doing that, he dragged the back foot.
Gia's going to pop back in. Central down by 2 with 17 seconds remaining in the first half. He'll come in for Klumak. Prim comes and gets the ball from midcourt and hucks it back to Mims. Salme goes wide one corner, Mims goes wide the other. Gonna go possibly let Gia go one-on-one with Hettinger. They'll give it back to Jesse's wide open for his 5th three, no good. 1 second, that's how the half will end. Central did get the offensive rebound at the end, but it really was of no consequences. Central will end 7 of 14 from the arc in the first half, and they trail by 2 after leading by 12 at one point in that contest in the first half.
Yeah, the first and second parts of that was almost as if there were 2 different quarters there played, though they don't play the quarters, of course, in men's college basketball.
Quick look at some stats. Jesse White, 14 to lead the way for Central, 8 for Mims off the bench. Black Bear and Gia with 6 points apiece for Western Wyoming. 12 from Cruz, 10 for Prim off the bench. 8 for Trevor Trost, 5 for Trey Pierce. Just some quick scoring numbers. We'll hook you up with more. We'll also be back with an interview with our head women's coach, Lindsey Fearing, after her team's victory earlier this afternoon. We'll talk with that coach right after we do this timeout. This is Rustler Basketball streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. At the intermission on the Pepsi scoreboard in the men's game, it is Western Wyoming 40. It is Central Wyoming 38. Central had a 12-point lead at at 1 point in the first half, as you see the Schmidt family waving for the camera here on at the halftime. I have our women's head coach with us, Lindsey Fearing, and we don't know if it was 72-51, 72-52, but in the end, grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter if it was 1 or 100. It's a W, and that's exactly what this team needed.
Yeah, super excited for them. They played hard, and that was one thing that we were lacking on Wednesday as far as energy and playing hard. And I asked them before the game, I said, I would like to have 4 in double figures at the end of this game. And if we can do that, we're going to win. At the end of the game, we ended up with having 4 in double figures. Alexis finally played the way that she usually plays, works her butt off, she's just everywhere. Chevelle is huge for us. Alex and Liv, they do what they do. And defensively, I mean, we put the hammer down on fourth quarter against them. We only let them score 7 points. Third quarter was a little different story, but I was very proud of their effort.
There was 2 things I was going to say, and one was the start that you wanted. You got out to a good, quick start and then kept it. You know, they crept in. It was double digits, 15, 16, something. They got it to within 8, but your team decided, separated once again.
Yeah, anytime that you can handle a run that a team is going to throw at you and maintain your lead, that shows what kind of team you are. And, they handled their run. They made a great run. Credit to them. They kept fighting. And then once that fourth quarter came, it was lights out.
Yeah, my question is going to be something like that at all, because it gives you like a second game within the game to come from. And I thought that was a great answer when they made, I think they cut it to 8, I believe.
Yeah, credit to them. I mean, they fought in the third quarter. You know, we did some lazy things defensively and turnovers, but then, you know, we came back out in the fourth.
You talked about the W, as I cut John off.
Go ahead.
Accidentally, but you talked about that. In a win like this, what is, I know that's the first best thing, but what are like the second, third, and fourth best things in a win like this?
Yeah, confidence, especially going into the rest of our conference games. They lost to Northwest as well, and that's the next competition that we have to face. And, you know, before they came out in the second time, right before the game, I put everyone's records in our conference up on the board, and I put us last. And I said, let this be a motivation to you to show you where you guys are at. And they used it. So they went and erased it and put us at 5th, so they were happy about that.
Well, and now a chance to move up and to build on this and, you know, make this stand up a little more.
Yeah, we definitely want to make a run. We definitely know what it takes. I mean, the energy was just way different than what it was Wednesday. Our start was completely different, and the way we finished the game is typically how we always finish the game. But our effort, everybody was there, and they were in it.
You know, and one other thing I've got to say is Chevelle Boyd has one gear, and that is 110, and she has on the floor, and I'm like, we just got you back from being injured. Now quit beating yourself up out there. But I mean, it's just her motor. I mean, she just goes. That
kid, man, she plays with such a bigger size than what she is. Her heart is so big. She's mighty, but she's feisty, and she's gonna do whatever it's gonna take to make us win. And you know, she's been out 2 months, but it doesn't even seem like she has been.
Feels like longer. I
right.
mean, but to see her back the last 2 nights is good. Anything else, Linz?
No.
Joel?
I thought early in the game, your post defense was as good as we've seen it all year.
Yes.
You know, they struck with a couple of early buckets, but after that, you really glommed up the mess in there.
That was that was one of our emphasis for our post players, was to handle their post players, because most of their points are coming from their post play. They're not making a lot of threes right now, so that was where it was.
20-ish point victory. We don't have it. Riley and Jackson had that, and their paperwork is gone, and so
it's a dub.
I can check the trash there, see if it's there.
But like we said, it's a win, and Coach, congrats, and thanks for coming up.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. Lindsey Fearing, our women's head coach, after her team victorious earlier this afternoon, 4 in double figures in that. We're at the intermission here on the Pepsi scoreboard, 40-38. In favor of Western Wyoming. We'll tell you some stats on how they got that way. This is the halftime show on 88.1, streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. .40-38 on the Pepsi scoreboard. Rustlers back out on the court, getting some second half drills and not just shooting around, but actually getting some layups and stuff a little bit different than what we've seen on the halftime shoot around as they come out. Central led by 12 at 1 point, down by 2 at the half. They were down by as many as 5 in the contest to the Mustangs in the first half. First half scoring, Jesse White 14. 6 points for Tony Gia, 6 points for Niehi Black Bear, 5 points Nate Mims, 4 points Sebastian Gaza, 3 points Saul May for CWC. For Western, they were led by Andre Cruz. He has 12. 10 points for Dane Prim off the bench, 8 points Trevor Trost, 5 points Trey Pierce, 3 points Chase Hettinger, 2 points Azarian Stevens. First half shooting, CWC 15 of 29, 52%. That's a pretty good clip right there. Western went 17 of 29, though, 59%. Western 2 of 7 from the arc. Central 7 of 14 from the arc. Not a lot of free throws. Central 1 for 1. And the visitors were at the line 4 times, made all 4. So that's where we stand at the break. As of right now, 11 turnovers by Central, 10 turnovers by Western.
Well, that would be not as close as that. Maybe that's why the shot differential was what it was, but apparently not so much.
And then rebounding right now unofficially 14-11. That is exactly what I have, so make it official. 14-11 in favor of Western Wyoming in the rebounding battle.
It's only official because I helped you out at the end, by the way, but
helps me out at the end as in
the Hettinger rebound.
Yeah, you did help me out on that Central did not get that last rebound that Chase Hettinger did.
I get some little credit. I'm shooting for something
and
here.
So Joel correcting us, the stat bureau here, as both teams now back out on the court, getting ready for the second half. One thing I did not.
What were the biggest leads, by the way, in this one?
12 and 5.
Okay.
28th meeting between these two teams. Western leads 14-13, so it's been pretty even. However, Brad Schmidt is 1 and 5 against Steven Souza. So under Brad Schmidt, 1 and 5 against Western Wyoming. They have won 5 in a row, by the way, too.
That's not always good for a friendship either.
No, that's a little hard. It's a lot easier for one, obviously, but yeah, Brad Schmidt 1 and 5 versus this team. Other games today: Casper at LCCC. And Casper, actually it's Northwest at LCCC today. Their women's game was postponed, and the LCCC men won 90-85. Other game going on today, Casper is at Eastern Wyoming playing, and I'll try to effort you a score on that as well. Coming up on Wednesday, the CWC men will be on the road, and that'll be on Wednesday at Northwest College. And they'll be back on the road again then on Saturday as well. Casper leading Eastern right now. They are just starting the second half. Low scoring one there at 37-33 now with that Eastern bucket. Casper out in front 37-33. They have about 19 minutes left to go in that basketball game on the men's side of the equation.
That'd be a huge win for Eastern if they could pull that off, having gone through most of the first round undefeated.
And they're at home taking on Casper on top of that as well. It will be Central basketball when we come back for the second half from Rustler Gym. 40-38 Western on the Pepsi scoreboard. We return. This has been your halftime show. After this is Rustler basketball, streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. Rustler basketball to begin the second half. They trail by a bucket. One of their, I guess, only 2 more home games after this for CWC basketball, unless there's a Region 9 play-in game that could happen if they were to host that. But
winning this would certainly help.
Yeah, it would go a long way, and it certainly did for the ladies in their W as well. Jesse White, Jack Klumak, Niehi Black Bear, Sebastian Gaza, and Tony Gia, the 5 that will start for Central, dressed in white. On the other side, Stevens, Collins, Cruz, Pierce, and Trost. Niehi working on Trost, has it knocked away from him. Gaza goes to the ground, and they'll call a quick tie-up. That'll be a turnover on Central as Trey Pierce ties up Sebastian Gaza. And the quick flip of the arrow going right back to the visitors.
One thing I've noticed in ball games, since they just do the jump ball at the start, those jump balls aren't thrown so great anymore.
Yeah, they don't have any more clinics on that for sure, do they? Trost back to the basket, flips it back out to Cruz. Bounce pass just got away. Collins banking a 15-footer home.
Yeah, banking it straight on, which is not the norm.
4-point advantage. Central needs to keep this manageable here and not let them get on a run like they did against Northwest on Thursday night, actually. Cross court, Black Bear, pump fake, fires a 3, left it well short. Gia, though, the rebound, high arcer off glass, good. Big bucket by Tony Gia. He's got 8 points.
Yeah, nice shot as he was well contested on that basket.
Minute gone by, into the paint. Trey turns around, Pierce drops it. The tiered up floater there in the middle of the lane, good elevation. 44-40 on the Pepsi scoreboard. Klumak back to Gia. Tony getting the start today, has that knocked out of his hands. Wow, and Azarian Stevens kind of got the bad end of the deal on that as he comes out checking his lip for blood as he kind of got tangled up with Gia on his way to the rack.
And on top of that, I think he didn't need to really foul us. He had good defensive help coming from the post position.
Gia will go to the line. Tony is a 78% free throw shooter. Central as a team 68 on the year. Well, that is the quietest I've heard this gym in a long time as he knocks that one down.
Is your hoop mic working again? Because that was pretty darn quiet that regard as well.
You can hear him. You can hear Marcus talking down there.
You've turned it up to 11.
And no good. Niehi, though, the rebound wide open, knocks it in. Turn it back to 9. 44-43, Central within 1. 3-point trip. Oh, and an offensive foul as Tony Gia gets leveled by Trey Pierce at the top. That'll be number 2 on Trey. Turnover number 11 on Western Wyoming. Coach Souza talking with the official about that. Central needs somebody to come inbound the ball, and they will do so. A lot more turnovers than I thought possibly there would be, especially for a game that is as high scoring as this one is at this point right now.
Of course, turnovers can lead to fast breaks too, so.
Gia is going to be fouled by Justice Reese, who has checked into the ball game. That'll be number 2 on Justice.
He was their first sub in the first half as well, wasn't he?
Comes in early here in the second half as Jesse White will trigger the inbound underneath their window to the right. Lobs it up to Gaza. Niehi. Down low, Klumak posting up Cruz.
That might have been fouled there.
He'll fire from 15 off of 1 foot, left it short. Not sure if that foot is bothering him that he left the game for earlier, but he shoots that one off of 1 hop. Cruz rejected by Niehi. Picked up, though, by Western, and Trost is going to score. And a quick 30-second timeout called. Boy, Niehi got a block, but fortunate bounce and another pass, and Trost gets the lay-in.
But for a big guy, he has such a soft touch.
30-second timeout. Again, remind you of the Rustler 500 reverse raffle. Also, CWC volleyball coach Darcia Gallard hosting a volleyball camp February, I believe it's coming up in February 16, 17. I can't remember it is right now.
But ask somebody, the whole team is down there to our left.
Email, it's kindergarten through senior years, and you can 2 different times. They're not going to be all together.
Not senior years like 65 and above, like senior year in high school, we should probably. clarify.
Thanks for the clarification on that. Volleyball at CWC is her email if you want to get in touch with the coach and get in the camp. Volleyball at cwc.edu. Nate Mims into the contest. He had 5 points in the first half.
He was their first sub in the first half as well.
Played good minutes, 3 rebounds and 5 points in that first half as well. Gia, baseline Mims, guarded by Cruz, bodies in, spins, fade, 8, got it. Nice tough move by Nate Mims. Central now within 1 at 46-45 and a foul.
You know, making
actually just a kick out of bounds. Sorry,
yeah, making more of an effort to get it to Pierce down low than they did early in the ball game.
Looking at Central's defense, are we 2-3 zone right now?
Of course, on the inbounds, quite often you go to the zone right there, too.
Trost takes it on the low block, kicks it back out. Collins for 3, no good. Rebound is going to be picked up by Cruz, and then he'll have it knocked away from him and taken away by the Rustlers. 12 turnovers.
Ooh, that looked interesting.
On each team. Gia the distance, lay it up and in, and Central has back the lead on Tony Gia's 11th point of the contest. 3 on the way. Cruz, actually it's
Mr.
Collins. Oh, it was Trost, excuse me. Lead change once again. Jesse White shot is left short. Trost will pick it up off the floor.
Seemed like he came up for the shot before he'd set, and once I'm on the air, then decided to take the shot.
49-47. Pierce back to the basket on the short corner. Spins, fires it up over Gaza, no good. Rebound coming to Niehi Black Bear. 3 boards for Niehi. 49-47. 3.5 minutes old here on the Pepsi scoreboard in the second half. What are you looking for exactly?
I'm just checking some numbers
okay.
there, where all the numbers are.
I thought you were looking for something specifical, and I would help you out. J-Dub tries to cut past Collins, will be fouled by Marcus. Collins will pick up his 3rd personal foul.
I was going to say I was checking on the biggest lead, but I wasn't.
4th team foul. And coming out of the ball game is Justice Reese, and he's got a nose full of cotton. And Adam Simon, our athletic trainer, going to go visit with him. So Maldonado with a bunch of gauze in his nose in the Wyoming game yesterday. Coach Brad Schmidt calls a timeout to save the possession on a 5 count. And so we'll keep the timeout. 16-18 remaining in the ball game. 49-47 Western out in front. Take a quick break. This is Rustler Basketball on 88.1, streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. $16-18 remaining. Rustlers call a timeout. Gia will trigger it inbound. And I'm not sure what the referee is waiting for. Kind of like spotting the ball at an NFL game or something. Jesse White runs down. He'll be fouled. And the late whistle kind of like, I know it's probably not like this, but it's, okay, let's see what the result of the play is, and then we'll call a foul.
What I was wondering, too, because it rolled around like it was going to go in, but did not.
That foul, Trey Pierce, his 3rd now as J-Dub goes to the line. Jesse 84% from the stripe, raises that Rustler average. He knocks one down. 15 for Jesse, as high as the Rustler is a 37-point game. Gaza out, Saul May in. Second free throw ties us at 49 apiece, our 4th tie of the ball game. With 16:10 left. Mitchelson, excuse me, it's Hedinger, sorry. Left side to Stevens. Central in his own defense here. Kind of really guarding Prim at the 15-foot line as Cruz gets free, wraps one underneath to Trost. He'll force one up, doesn't go in, knocked out of bounds off of Western Central basketball.
You mentioned Mitchelson. Wasn't his dad their coach in basketball as well? Who has not played in the game so far today, but
dad or uncle, but I'm guessing father, yeah. Outside Gia, working on Hedinger, back outside. Mims, double dribbled. He put it on the floor once and then kind of made these steps, and the defender was like, okay, I dare you, and he did, and he got him to
I thought something didn't look right, but I did not think it was a double dribble in my mindset.
Put the ball down as soon as he got the basketball and then did it again to make his move. There we be. 49 apiece on the Pepsi scoreboard. Cruz back over Stevens. Prim in the paint, kicks it back out to Cruz. He'll penetrate. Looked like he traveled with it, and he did. 13 turnovers apiece in this contest.
One of those rare occasions where Prim and Trost did not really connect because he was wide open underneath and Prim did not see him.
Jesse White showing the signals, brings it across. May, left side, Gia. Mims runs the arc. Ball gets tapped by Stevens. Out of bounds. It will stay Central ball with 18 on the shot clock. Been getting decent crowds here at Central Saturday afternoon. Big wrestling tournament in town today.
If you want to watch basketball this weekend at Riverton, this was the place.
Yeah, Wolverine basketball team off. The Lander Tigers split with Worland yesterday. They're playing Lovell today. Girls game should be over. Jesse White, long three, got it. He was knocked to the floor. And what do we get called? They're going to call
White for
Jesse
flopping.
White for flopping. So that's why we didn't get a call on a foul, as he got boxed out by Stevens, and they give Jesse White the flop warning.
Seemed like more, if you're going to do that, it seemed like more of a no call to me.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Prim takes the inbound at midcourt. Central with a 3-point lead now at the 14:38 mark. Hedinger, Cruz, Stevens playing catch around the perimeter. Stevens for three to tie, no. And the ball poked out of there, and Dane Prim is the one that ends up with it. 3 rebounds for Prim. Gaza will check in next dead ball. Prim, couple of bounces, battles it, fades for 12 and drains it. Pretty shot by Dane Prim. He's got 12.
Yeah, especially after a regather on the basketball.
Such a good shot. Gia wide open, Black Bear. He will be fouled by Hedinger as he went to put the jam down. Black Bear has 8. He'll have a chance for 9 and 10 as Hedinger picks up his first personal foul.
I think it was a case of him just saying we're not going to dunk on us as much as he knew was going to commit the foul.
52-51. Misses that one. Niehi on the season, just a 57% free throw shooter. I'd like to see him shoot his average here. Put this one down and does. And Gaza will check in for Black Bear. 2-point Rustler advantage, 53-51. We still have 14 minutes left. Myron Sims, the third. That's why they call him Trey's checked into the ball game. Trey Sims, number 13. I talked with him prior to he was warming up at the halftime of the girls' game, and I said, are you the third Myron? He said, yes, that's why I'm Trey, so.
Well, maybe it was his 3-point shooting ability, but that was not it, hey?
Trey has checked in. It's funny that some of the crowd has pictures of him that they hold up at the game, and there's one of him looks like he's about 10 years old. I'm not sure where they found that picture, but Central was going to get whistled for a foul. And it's going to be Nate Mims, his second personal. So we'll see sophomore night here in one of the last 2 home games for Central. Stevens, midcourt circle on the 2-3 Rustler zone. Shot clock at 10. Trost, baseline, Cruz for 3, got it.
There's a lot of familiar faces at the Western Wyoming sophomore night.
Back to a 1-point game. And a 1-point lead, I guess, for Western. Sims to Mims. Turnaround 12, left it short. Prim will come out of the pack with a rebound. Throw it through the hands of Hedinger. Gia will check in on the next stop and play. Prim way out, top of the key, palms the basketball. Jack Klumach, haven't seen him in a while, is going to check back into the contest. Hope that left ankle is all right. Trost wide open for three, buries it. They lost the big guy out on the perimeter, and he knocks it down and adds to a lead. It's 4 points of a lead now for Western Wyoming. 57-53 on the Pepsi scoreboard. Jesse takes it all the way. No contact, nothing called. And Cruz ends up with it as Mims goes down. Trost was down as well.
Oh, breaking up the 4-on-2 there.
Get the steal back the other way. Jesse for another three. That one is good. Jesse White.
Boy, you normally don't get that much iron on a successful three.
Quick timeout. Jesse White's sixth three-pointer of the basketball game with 12:11 left to play. And a 57-56 Western advantage. Break time with them as we step aside. This is Rustler Basketball on 88.1. Streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. Western up by 1 with 12:11 left to play. John Gabrielson, Joel Kindle high atop Rustler Gymnasium. Along with Jackson Morris, our TV director back in Master Control. Riley Bouillon, Dory White, our camera peeps there on the top of the gym. All under the direction of Amanda Nikoloff, the professor of new media here. Great job they do every single home game. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute as we get a stop and play, and I'll make a plea for the Rustler 400 versus your admission / viewing, watching privileges as Prim has it. Keeps it on a bounce, finds Trost behind the back, kind of little flip to Prim, and he's going to be fouled by Gaza.
Did I say they know each other pretty well earlier in this broadcast?
Fourth personal foul on Sebastian Gaza, and he's going to be pulled out of the ball game after this free throw by Prim, but you know, make the plea for the Rustler 500, and it's just a chance to help our scholarships. We have more sports than any other junior college in the state, and like to see them all funded well, and it just kind of money translates into scholarships, which translates into possibly more success. And I know a lot of other places, Region 18 for one, charges $5-6 every stream, and you've never had to pay to watch a Rustler stream. And if you've watched a bundle of them, maybe a Rustler 500 ticket is in your plans,
you
perhaps.
You turned that, didn't you? Very, very clever there.
Playing on the emotions, man. So rustlerathletics.com, where you can go. Underneath Klumach, right hand push, good. Nice play, nice pass up top from Niehi Black Bear. Within one now, 59-58 after the two Prim free throws.
Interesting how Western runs the baseline court often on their inbounds play at the end.
Stevens bounces it. Oh, it got touched the toe of Sims, and Trost ends up with it and puts it in from point blank. Back to a 3-point lead. Central has played pretty darn well in this ballgame, still shooting 54% from the field. Gia behind the back loses it out of bounds. It'll be a turnover back to Western. Central 22 of 41, 54%, 9 of 17 from the arc. That's 53%. That's as well as we've seen them shoot at home. Western right now 5 of 12 from the arc. They are 60% overall, though, at 25 of 42, and they're a perfect 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Prim at the free throw line. Behind the back, through the legs of Trost, out of bounds. They'll trade turnovers.
A heck of a play in croquet, but not so great in basketball.
They're right through the wickets. Klumak to May, back to Jack. Now Gia. Takes Stevens to the rack, and one. No, it doesn't fall in. Stevens, I believe, will get the call. He does. That'll be number 2 on Azarian Stevens, and it'll send Tony Gia back to the free throw line. Tony 1 for 2 a bit ago. Central 5 of 7 from the stripe. 71%, right at their team average of 69. Pretty close. And that free throw is good. 12 points for Gia. Tony's season high, by the way, 18 versus Taylor Prep. They were on the road in December. Got Saul May back into the ball game. Nate Mims in there as well. Gia gets both. He's 13 points now. Got the start today. Bench is right now 17-10 in favor of Western in the bench scoring, which really doesn't mean a whole lot down the stretch, as Prim will just power it in. That was pretty darn good defense by Nate Mims, but Prim doing what he does around the rim, and he scores.
That shows how strong he is with that slender body.
Saul May, right-hand scoop, not good. Trost the rebound. Trost 5 rebounds with his 18 points. Hettinger leaves it short, airballed it in fact, as Mims comes away with a rebound. Jesse White, after a quick break, going to check back in. Mims travels with it. I wondered if they were going to let it go, but he picked up that foot and fell down. And now a technical foul. Nope, a media timeout. Ooh, I thought he gave a technical.
I think he felt contact, and then he kind of pulled a chair on him, and there was the travel.
Media timeout at 9:45. No technical. Good news there. 63-60, though. Central has just turned it over. It'll be Western basketball. When we come back, this is Rustler basketball from Rustler Media, streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. (63-60), Western the lead and the basketball. Still 9:45 left to play on the Pepsi scoreboard, second half. Coach talked about in the pregame, Sam Harrison, the assistant, saying water finds its level, and he's like, well, hopefully our shooting has not been the level that we're better shooters than that. And tonight they've come out and shot much better, and they're within 3 of second place in the conference. Western right now with 9.5 left in the contest. Cruz back to Prim, drives in, shot partially blocked by Niehi Black Bear, but Collins is going to go to the line as they call Niehi for the foul.
It could work out in CWC's advantage if the ball ended up going to Trost to just put it in easily.
Right.
But
Collins will go to the line. Collins, 58% free throw shooter, so see how this turns out in his 2 attempts, first of which he knocks right down.
Somewhat unusual for a guard to have that low shooting percentage at the line, because he's going to be handling the ball a lot at crunch time in the ball game.
Trey Pierce in for Trost. Second, good. Got them both raising that average. 5-point Western lead now, 9:26 remaining. Jesse White, 22 points. He has 6 3-pointers in the contest, 6 of their 9, in fact. Black Bear back to Jesse. Trying to get free, kicks it back out. Mims to Gia. That's Mims, excuse me. He'll penetrate and got it knocked away and take it away. They'll just lose it. Picked up, right side outside. Stevens for 3, no good. Mims the board.
So that would have been big in their favor had they made that.
Very much so. 5-point deficit with Gaza back in next. Dead ball for the Rustlers. Saul May gives it to Jesse. He'll fall down. Presence of mind to poke it back up. Good job by Stevens to help him up. Pump fake. Black Bear rejected by Prim. Good block by Prim. And then Gia falls down. Nice dribbling by Stevens. Three-pointer Cruz, no good. Prim, the rebound, and they will reset.
I'm surprised Prim didn't try to put it back up there because he's so, deadly in that office there.
He did such a good job on the defensive end, blocking Black Bear as well. Klumak will come back in as well. Baseline corner, Stevens, their third attempt, and they knock it down to finally take that 8-point lead. 3 attempts they got at that three-pointer, and now they finally put up an 8-point lead and a timeout called by Central.
I believe that is their biggest lead of the ball game.
You are correct. 68-60 Western. Trost meets his team as they come back to the sideline. Rustlers going to their timeout. We're back in half a minute. This is Rustler basketball from 88-1. Still a lot of time left to play in this contest, but kind of not at the same time at 7:56. Western with an 8-point advantage.
And CWC trying to stay in contact right now. This is the danger zone, you might say.
Yeah, it's been a few times up and down the floor. They've come up empty.
Yeah, I think you could not give them that free corner three too many times, and finally on the third one, they cashed in.
May, guarded by Prim. Klumak has Cruz on him on the low block. Jack, little one-hand push. Missed it. Prim, the rebound. Back the other way. Back baseline corner again. Collins, his three no good. Cruz, though, with another offensive rebound. Collins, a short 6-footer, got it.
That went to the shot put effect basically there and had it fall.
Collins,
and now we're double digits.
Yeah, he has 6, and Western's biggest lead of the game now at 10.
And they're doing it with Trost on the bench as well, and that was almost a turnover there.
Collins 5 rows deep in the crowd as he knocked that one away but couldn't corral it. Absolutely right. Trost is on the pine right now for Coach Souza, and they've not only held court but widened the lead as well. Jesse, 7th three, no good. Cruz the rebound.
I think you're seeing right now Western playing with such confidence you can see as they go down the court.
Another three, no good. Prim, though, the rebound spins. They'll call him for the travel and give it back.
His teammates trying to calm him down there. I'm not sure, in my mind, he traveled. How did he put the ball on the floor? And
it kind of spun without putting it down, and
so he spun out of the
I
where
saw
the foot's supposed to have been spun then.
They called it. Maybe if they don't call it, I didn't see it. I guess
that's a goaltend either way.
Nice job by Tony Gia. He's got 15 now, 3 away from a career high as a Rustler. Cuts the lead to 8. Central needing a defensive stop now. 6:30 left.
This is the first time we've seen Gia start here. Wow.
Athletic move by Stevens running past Gaza, playing with 4 fouls, by the way, and he's got 4 points.
Great body control.
Jesse's 3 no good, and Prim has been a rebounding master here in the second half. He's got 8 for the game. And then he gets free in the paint, knocks it down, and scores and one.
Gia's probably out. Or not Gia, Gaza.
And that is Sebastian Gaza's 5th personal foul. 4 points, 2 boards tonight for Gaza as Black Bear will check back in. Back to now a 12-point advantage for Western.
Which matches the biggest lead for either team in this game.
You are correct.
This is old-faggled bookkeeping over here.
You've been looking over my shoulder at my new stat sheet. Prim can't get the three-point play. Actually, it's Trey Pierce.
I've typically been checking the massive Trost point totals.
Gonna have to take those back away from him and give them to Trey Pierce. And the missed free throw, unfortunately, Gia. Baseline, poked up in the air by Collins, taken away. Right side and running past Jesse White and flushing it down is Cruz. 17 for Andre Cruz, and an emphatic dunk has him up by 14. Klumak 3 the other way, buries it. Quick timeout, 5 points for Jack.
Boy, much needed, but, you know, they much need more of those.
Yeah, they have kind of got spurted away from right now by Western with 5:39 remaining and a 76-65 score on the Pepsi scoreboard.
We don't have the coach mic'd up, but we kind of do.
Looking at what's up next, Central will be at Northwest College on Wednesday. Western will travel to Sweet Erickson Thunderbird Gym. They'll face the Thunderbirds of Casper College on Wednesday. Then on Saturday, Western is back home. They'll host Eastern Wyoming, and that will be a big basketball game. That may well could decide.
And the Casper game right before, it's a big game as well, I think.
Yeah, but
at Casper.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give you that. Casper right now leading Eastern by 9.
Especially if Casper wins today.
Exactly. 2:45 left to play in that ball game. And Casper leading by 9 at Torrington right now.
That could really tighten up the whole Region 9 North with this Western team involved.
So Cruz, after flushing that one down, will go to inbound. Central going to pick him up. 2-2-1.
And you know what Cruz did? He did a nice job avoiding the charge as well on that dunk.
Ran past him and hammered it down.
I think there was no contact whatsoever as he slid by sideways.
5.5 remaining in the ball game. Western up by 11. Prim scoots it out right side. Stevens 3, no good. Tipped back up and in by Cruz.
Well, they sure like the shot from the side, don't they, right now? And they've not made them, but they've still converted on putbacks off that.
Black Bear guarding by Prim. Nice move by Niehi. He's got 11. She got free. Prim cross courts it to Collins. Lime green shoes on Collins. And a foul. It's going to be on Jesse White. Honestly, I didn't even really see anybody really near people to guard people to get a foul. Did you?
No, I can't say that was that what I was looking at even? I'm not really sure. It's just.
We'll watch the replay here and see exactly what is going on. Oh, Prim was walking behind him and he stuck a left hand out and kind of held him at the free throw line. So, yeah, good call by the official, I'll say that. There's a travel call.
Prumak just missed getting a personal foul right before the travel, actually.
16 turnovers by Western, 17 by Central. Those have kind of negated each other, and right now it's a 31-17 rebounding advantage for Western, proving to be an 11-point differential with 4.5 left to go in the ball game.
The Rolex is not CWC's friend right now.
Jesse gives it to Klumak. He'll be knocked to the ground from behind and helped up by Trey Pierce. Good sportsmanship by Trey. Klumak will go to the stripe. Collins focusing his team underneath the hoop. Klumak, 70% free throw shooter. His season high is 24 against Southern Nevada. Not near that tonight, unfortunately, with 5 for the headband, as he will knock that first one down. Don't see any headbands in the crowd tonight like we did the other night, though. 10-point game. Make it a 3-possession contest, and does. 7 for Klumak. 4:20 left. Rustlers need a stop or two defensively here. Collins pulls it out to the midcourt logo. 9-point Western advantage on that Pepsi scoreboard. Collins baseline. That was a double dribble, isn't it? He throws it out of bounds anyway. Oh, and they're going to say that it stays Western. Well, I thought he double dribbled the first place.
And somebody, unless somebody poked it away, but I thought you're right as well.
He didn't corral it, I think. Yeah, wow. So they'll give them still the basketball with 8 on the shot clock. Prim, 5. Stevens has it knocked out of there, taken away by the Rustlers. Long pass up ahead, J-Dub. He will run around his man, score it, and 1. Nice tough move by Jesse White. He's got 24. Prim tags him on the noggin. They had words earlier. They'll have words again.
That's tough to do, coming into the stop like that and then being able to complete the play.
Prim will get his second personal foul. They're asking to see if it was on the shot or not. I already counted it. They've already counted it. It's already on the scoreboard.
And the officials would just signaled it again.
And the near side official said, yeah.
Both of them, in fact, the one close by as well. Or,
yeah, the one close by is the one.
Okay, the one across from us did.
Jesse, 3-point
I'm used
play.
to when we used to be on the side of the camera.
It's a 2-possession game, 3:48 left. Central got the stop they need. They get a 3-point play on the other end. 78-72, 3:40.
Just surprised Trost is sad as long as he has.
Yeah, well, and you thought maybe that would be the catalyst that brought him back, as they've done well without him.
Until just recently.
Stevens underneath, Cruz laid up and in, and a quick timeout, Coach Souza.
That's one thing both coaches do. They call timeouts after a made basket. They're big on that, both of them.
3:27 remaining, 80-72, Western the lead. They have the basketball. We'll be back after this on 88.1, streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. .327 remaining. Second half, basketball on the Pepsi scoreboard. 2-1 in the conference. Western Wyoming leading Central. Central at 0-3, looking for their first W in conference play.
Just think how much a win would tighten these two teams up, but how much a loss for CWC would really separate them.
Trost will come in next dead ball, as he did not come in during the timeout. Klumak working on Cruz. Size advantage to Cruz as Klumak's going to body him up. Niehi wide open at the 15-foot mark. Battles the dribble out to Jesse for 3. Not going to get it. Cruz tries to rebound it. He hits it off of the backboard. And Prim comes away with it. And then Jesse White takes on Prim on the other side and will be called for the foul.
You know, a couple of their fast breaks, they don't look real fluid on them, oddly enough. I thought, they would. In fact, I know as Coach Souza kind of be downgrading his team a bit on a 4-on-2 that they just turned it over on earlier in this game.
Didn't foul Prim, by the way. He fouled Zarian Stevens. Zarian, 78% free throw shooter, knocks down the first. 5 points for Stevens.
They're going to exchange 3-year sophomores as Trost comes back in. Well, that's a case of 2. He might be the better free throw shooter, of the 2 as opposed to.
Nate Mims is in. Jack Klumak is out. Trey Pierce, you're looking for?
Yes, that's who it is.
Zarian gets both. Back to a 10-point lead. Central had it to 6. But a missed shot and a couple of free throws on the other end. Put him back up. Gia, baseline, right side corner. Goes back to Saul May. Back up top, Jesse White. Had 6 threes in this game, but has not made his last 3. May runs past everybody. Mims for 3. Big shot. No. Back of the iron. Cruz runs out to get the rebound. And they will go the distance. Misses the scoop. Rebound, gonna go out of bounds, and they'll keep it. Western basketball, much to the disappointment of everybody in the gym that's wearing orange and black.
Really, the gym not as loud as I thought they might be over that at the same time. The volleyball team is, that would maybe be up in arms over that one, but they're not.
10-point game, 2.5 remaining in the contest. CWC women, boy, how long has it been since we've had a Rustler sweep in this gym? As Prim says, well, it maybe ain't going to happen today for you, as he buries one from just inside the 3 line. 18 points off the bench for Dane Prim tonight.
Is he now their leading scorer, is he? Or
in the game, Cruz has 21, Trost has 18. Jesse, baseline, May for 3, left it short. Cruz another rebound. Boy, that puts him at double-double status for the day right there.
It's been kind of a quiet one if it makes it. We kept thinking about Trost and Prim.
Except for the thunderous dunk he had over the top a little while ago. Fairly quiet points-wise for sure. 12-point game. Biggest lead has been 14, and Trost will match that as he turns around in the paint and buries it. Boy, Central got to within 6, but has been on a bit of a drought since Jesse White 15, and that one is not going to go down either, and Trost will get the rebound, and that'll probably take care of business.
And it seems like maybe not for the whole game, but lately it's been Western on the boards being dominant.
Well, they have out-rebounded Central 38-17, and a foul by Black Bear and a bucket by Stevens. And that will be...
Well, that's total domination on the boards, going back to what you just said.
Biggest lead of the game now of 16, and a foul on Black Bear will be his 3rd personal foul. And it sends Azarian Stevens to the line. He's got 8, looking for 9. Gets it. Central going to fall to 0-4 in conference play. But as we talked with Coach Schmidt prior to the game, a W and an L to hang your hat on against this team about whether or not you've gotten better is not indicative of how your team played. And I think his team played much better tonight, and he'll be maybe a little more pleased with the effort, not so much
except
the
down
outcome.
Down the stretch, not so much.
And there could be that as well, as they'll alley-oop. Cruz laid up, goaltending by Niehi, his 2nd one of those of the night.
I mean, this could end up a 20-point game. It's 19 now, in fact.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you have to wonder, too, at least I do, we're going to see players like Prim and maybe Trost as well down the road at some 4-year school.
You'll see Derek Lionberger. Well, Trost, like I said, was... he's got about a dozen D2 offers from what Coach Souza said. He had went to Chaminade for a while for a semester.
Silver Swords.
And then came back to Western. Stevens some D2 offers. Pierce has been offered by Florida International. Dane Prim, of course, a lot of offers as well, as Gia runs down and is fouled by Stevens. That'll be number 3 on Azarian. But... yeah, this was a 78-72 game with a little over 4 minutes left. Central has gone on a drought while...
So this will stop the run right here if he makes the free throws then.
Yeah, and this will... see Gia hit the first. 16 for Tony.
You see the aforementioned Mitchelson into the ball game now for Western.
Lane Mitchelson wearing number 20. Also Derek Lionberger has checked in. Second one by Gia is good. 38 ticks remaining. Reese throws it away. And then I'm not sure if he was trying to jam that or not, but
I think he was, but
a little emphatic. He was a long way from the hoop to be jamming that.
His launch point was a bit far away.
Reese is going to pick up the foul as they commit the turnover.
You know, Cruz is going to be a problem for a while if he's a freshman this year.
Yeah. Free throw is good.
Maybe not a problem for them, but it could be for us.
Central 13 of 15 from the line, 87%. Western 11 of 12, 92% for them. Second good. 9 points, 5 rebounds
That's a
by Mims.
violation right there. They're going to switch inbounders, and the one guy was still in play, and he tries to go out of bounds. And
19th turnover on Coach Souza's team.
Well, they've overcome the over and backs they had in the early minutes.
They did have 2 of those. Gonna try to get wide open. Stevens going to stay on him. Baseline, Niehi laid up and in. Had to adjust a little bit. 13 for Niehi Black Bear. 13 points, 3 rebounds. 13-point game. Ball knocked out of bounds. Central continuing to full court press.
Shot clock away.
24 ticks remaining. Reese to Mitchelson. Get the ball up ahead to Collins. I believe Leinberger has a sister on the Rock Springs women's basketball team, girls team, I guess, at Rock Springs High School. They'll high-five each other as the final seconds run down. And Western will go to 3-1 on the year. Central going to drop to 0-4 on the season. And they have 36 seconds left to play at Eastern Wyoming, and Casper still hanging on to a 4-point advantage in that basketball game. So I'll grab you a final on that as well. 91-78 in favor of the visitors as Western Wyoming defeats Central today. We'll get the words from the coach and see what he thought of his team's play here in just a bit. You've been listening to Rustler Basketball on 88.1 KCWC FM, streaming live at rustlerathletics.com. (91-78) your final from Rustler Gymnasium, as again the visitors from Western, and they still have 25 seconds left in Eastern, and it's still a 4-point game there, 82-78. But where I was going with that now, 19-3, the Mustangs, 3-1 overall. Central 7-11, 0-3, actually 0-4. They're on a 4-game skid, and 0-4 in conference play right now. Had a 12-point lead early and then got down by as many as 19 there in the end and fall by 13 at 91-78.
You certainly see the ability they've got to turn it on, you know, with what we saw tonight.
Well, and what Northwest saw in a 36-4 run in the middle of their game on Thursday night when they lost 91-57.
I think we saw more like mini runs in this one.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like you said, though, the potential certainly to see things happen and get done here today as well. So 91-78, and Eastern is now it's an 82-80 ball game. Eastern is at the line, and I'll tell you, actually, it's 82-79, excuse me, 21 seconds left. Now it's 82-80. I think, as they score their full court pressure coming up. And we'll have the coach join us here in just a couple of seconds, well, a couple of minutes probably. He's in with his team right now. Eastern with a steal and a dunk, and it's tied at 82 apiece now. Wow, what an end into that, as Eastern got a steal and a jam here in the final seconds. 5 seconds left in the game. Casper to the paint. Shot going off glass is in with 0.7 seconds left. Casper has just kind of done a Hunter Maldonado on Eastern Wyoming. Casper scoring with 0.7 seconds left to take a 2-point lead on the Eastern Wyoming Lancers. And we'll hit that as it goes final. But let's talk with our head coach, Brad Schmidt. And, Coach, I asked you this in the pregame. I'm like, you know, to hang your hat on a win or a loss to find success today, maybe not what you would want, but I'm going to flip this around on you here all the way. But your thoughts on the effort and on how, you know, obviously not what you wanted for a dub, but your thoughts on the game overall.
No, man, exactly what we talked about on the pregame show. If we came out and played the way that we had been playing, I knew it was going to be a competitive game, and that's, for the most part, we did that. You know, there was a stretch in the second half where we had multiple turnovers, multiple missed shots, and it kind of went from a tie game to, you know, a 6 to 8 point game, and my guys just looked defeated at that point, and that was a little concerning. And so I was just burning timeouts, trying to get them calmed down, and then, you know, late, 3 minutes left, down 8, we got kind of that swing play we've been talking about, and you know, Jesse White has a wide open 3 from the right wing, could have cut it to 5. Unfortunately, it doesn't go. It's a long rebound, and now we're down 10. We have an empty possession. Boom, they score again. We're down 12. And it's just, you know, we got to start making those plays. We got to start having a little bit more belief, but we're going to have to win to develop that belief.
Right. Got it within 6, I think, at 78-72 there at that point on what you're talking about. But I thought you'd been wanting to see consistent minutes from people, and I think you got that from a few kids tonight.
Yeah, no, you know, it was really good to see that Tony's playing about as well as he has all year. You know, he looks like the kid that I recruited, which is outstanding. It didn't help at all that Jack got hurt early in the game. You know, Chulamok's been one of our most consistent and toughest players, and we really needed him in this game just as far as his rebounding and playmaking goes, and we didn't have that. So that was unfortunate, and yeah, we always get Western's best shot, you know, 62% from the field, and just, you know, Trevor Trost goes 9 for 10. It's pretty hard to beat those guys when they're shooting like that.
I'm sure there's stuff you like. I'm sure the rebounding was something you didn't, I guess, in this
there's
game.
there's no rebounds, Joel. I mean, they missed 23 shots, and they got 7 back. It's just like, I looked at that too, and I was a little shocked, Joel, and then I was like, geez, they didn't miss, you know? So it's like, you know, and we shot the ball pretty well, but what hurt us too is we didn't have Sebastian. You know, Sebastian just got in early foul trouble again, and then he plays 15 minutes, but his 15 minutes was kind of sporadic, where he was playing like 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, really not getting into much of a flow. So that hurt us too. We needed Sebastian on the floor.
Is that something? It's kind of weird, but I think you wanted him to increase his toughness, but at the same time not get in foul trouble, right?
The big thing with his foul trouble is his positioning. You know, he just gets out of position too much. You know, he just hasn't played basketball that long. So he's still, like, figuring out angles and, like, just how to stop guys when he's walling up. So that's where a lot of them come from. And then a couple of them today came from our guards, just, you know, short closing and not containing the bounce. So I would probably put 2 of his 5 fouls on our perimeter players.
Northwest led LCCC most of the game. LCCC ends up winning 90-85. You'll take on Northwest. It gets, you know, on the road for the next 2, and then you got a couple of home ones. Yeah, well, next 3. I forgot about Air Force. Yeah, big, long, tough week coming up this week for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, we go to Powell on Wednesday, and I know Coach Collins is going to have his guys ready. You know, they're 0-4. We're 0-4. It's kind of ironic that the 4 other teams in the league are all going to be 3-1, and I think both me and Coach Collins feel like we have pretty solid teams, and just for whatever reason, we've lost a little mojo. Both of our teams have. You know, same thing. Like I said, we haven't made these swing plays, you know, where we hit big shots late and the other team misses a couple shots late. So that's unfortunate, but it's the reality we're both in right now.
Coach, you talked about you had the team kind of went down. Is that a thing where when things have not gone well, the team maybe, well, what's going to happen to us next sort of thing? And that's not
Well,
good.
yeah, I think what happened, when they were all in quarantine, I mean, I met with a couple guys this week that, I know multiple players during that time were just, questioning and, being here, going through this process of being a college athlete with what's going on, and I think we're out of that. But, I think some guys are a little too focused on their next step and their careers and their past over just being present with us. That was a conversation that we had earlier this week. So I think the guys responded well from the coaching and what we did over the 2 days. It's just, you get 0 nights off in this league, and when you're not playing your best basketball, things can get sideways pretty quick like they are for us.
Your Wednesday, Friday, Saturday next week? Wednesday at Northwest, Friday at Air Force Prep, Saturday at L Trip?
Correct,
Okay. Yeah, long weekend. Hope everybody stays healthy, and we'll see what transpires next week, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You bet. Thanks for coming up. Head Coach Brad Schmidt. 91-78, the final. Take a look at some final statistics in this one, and then we will let you go on this. Jesse White leads the way tonight for the Rustlers, 25 for J-Dub, 17 for Tony Gia, 1 point away from his season high. 13 for Niehi Black Bear. Nate Mims had 9 off the bench. Gaza 4, May 3. Klumak had 7 in the contest, and not a lot of rebounds at 37-17 though on your point about the rebounding.
Yeah, I think maybe it was accentuated at the end when they started missing those corner threes, but then they'd get the ball back and end up finishing the play.
23 for Cruz to lead the way for Western, 20 for Trost, 18 for Prim, 9 apiece for Pierce and Stevens, 6 for Collins and Hettinger. And those were your scorers as Western wins at 91-78. 19 turnovers by the Mustangs, 17 by the Rustlers. Central would shoot 48% for the game, 43% from the arc. They would...
and those really aren't bad numbers at all, especially from the arc.
And they would hit 14 of 16 free throws, which is pretty good.
Yes.
Western would go 11 of 12 from the arc. They went 61% for the game, 35% from the arc, as they win at 91-78. And it's been final from the Torrington, as Coach said, 3-1. Everybody now at the top, 0-4 Central and Northwest, as they will play on Wednesday, as Casper defeats Eastern Wyoming by 2, 84-82, I believe was the final score in that one. LCCC beat Northwest 90-85, and any final thoughts?
And a close game there, too, plus for Casper winning that one on the road. There's a lot of things you throw into these standings as you look at them, why this one team is 3-1 and how did they do it. That would have been a huge win for Eastern. You know?
And it's one thing I was remiss in pointing out. I was going to do it at a stop and play, and we never got it done. But Jalen Gentry.
I thought you were setting that up. You never did finish
I know,
that,
and we never did circle back to it. But Jalen Gentry has been scholarshiped at South Dakota State, who is playing very well in their division. And so
they've been pretty good for a number of years, actually.
Yeah.
You've seen them in the NCAA tournament more often than not coming out of I think this is the Horizon League.
Yeah, so congrats to Jalen Gentry and getting scholarship and playing well up there for South Dakota State as well. So again, split today, 72-51. CWC women victorious. On the other side, the Western men winning 91-78. Thanks to Amanda Nikoloff and the new media class. Jackson Morris, Riley Bouillon for doing the play-by-play on the ladies' side, with Christian Corona as the director, Rachel Hofer and Nevada Burzy as our camera people. Then in the second game, Jackson Morris was your director. Riley and Dory were our camera people. And Francis Obakoya, our engineer from Wyoming PBS. For Joel Kindle, I'm John Gabrielson. We'll see you back here. It'll be another week and a half before we are back on the home floor. Check out more details, as always, at rustlerathletics.com. It is 6 o'clock at KCWC FM Riverton, and we'll send you back to the music in just a moment.